What's up, nerds? So I just finished Agatha All Along show on the first 2 episodes. And I just want to say I didn't hate it. Actually, I kind of liked the first episode, but I think I liked it more because it was like a detective kind of true crime kind of show. The second episode, I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it either. It was very meh to me, and we'll talk about it when we get into this breakdown and everything. But overall, like, I'm who is this show for? I brought this up because I was like I was talking to my wife about it, and I go, who is this show for? And it seems like it's just for, middle-aged, wine moms. And she's like, ooh, so me. And I was like, yeah, but you've never heard of it because they they don't know how to advertise and shit. It's like people like myself. And I don't understand how it's gonna fit into the Marvel universe. I don't know. And I also want to say I do not like Jack Schaefer. She's not a comic book fan. She doesn't even know how to read a comic book fan because she's an idiot. And I didn't like WandaVision. I did not like that show. If you liked it, not dissing on you, I just did not like it. I thought the writing was shit and it made no fucking sense at the end, but whatever. It's fine. It is what it is. But Jack Schaefer is back for this shit. I'll tell you what. Now, this is the Witch's Road storyline, apparently. There's some more to it, but I just recently read that one, and I have thoughts on certain things. But we'll get into all that with the breakdown. Let's get into this breakdown, and then and I'll tell you my thoughts and everything, and yada, yada, yada. Okay, so we first get her. She's driving in this car, right? And this is very Mayor of Easttown. And which I love that show. That show was so good. I don't know if it's coming back for season 2, but it had Ralph Boner in it. Yay. So I did like this whole part right here. So she's driving, right? And she goes to this crime scene where we find out that her as a detective, she has been put on suspension because she kicked a perp or punched a perp and everything. And I'm all like, ooh, naughty girl. Sorry, I needed some libation. And so this is her partner. So they talk about how the victim, they've got a library card here, but the victim is a woman and she was crushed and everything. Now, this is obviously Wanda. And she's trying to figure it out. And it's, they talk about how she was crushed. And you remember she was crushed from Mount Wandagore in MOM, in Madness or whatever. And so they check out the victim. And the thing I liked about this is Catherine Hahn's acting in this part was very good. I like Catherine Hahn. I know some people might not like her, but you know what? So I liked her acting in this, like right here, like this is very Mayor of Easttown. Like she sees the victim and she's like, she gets like this thing like, oh, I could have been you kind of thing. You're all like, okay, whatever, it's fine. They all these detective shows do the same thing. So we see the fingernails, and this is obviously a callback to Agatha and Scarlet Witch's black fingers or whatnot. There she is, and that's obviously Wanda. And so she's traveling along, right? And she sees the pendant. Now, this is the brooch that Agatha Harkness wears in the comic books, and I believe she wore it in the WandaVision show. So she finds it, and this guy's all like, oh, whatever. So she's like, who are you? Who are you? And we will find out who she is, but we already know that it's Wanda because Wanda died and everything. She goes to the library where we see Dottie. And she's there to get the book to see who copied it out. And she has this little thing here. I just want to say right now, there's a line right here for this library. And I don't know about you. I go to the library all the time with my kids and everything and get books and stuff. I have never stood in line at the library. Like, of course, there's a bunch of people there because, I think the library is kind of fun. But I have never stood in a line to check out a book. And I'm all like, so this is ridiculous. So then I did like as she says, waiting for suckers. And I'm all like, people like you, honey, annoy the shit out of me. I'm like, there's a line for a reason, hooker. So she's like, there's more copies in the science fiction section or whatever. So she goes to find the books, right? And there's this burnt out part. And he's like, they all got lost in the fire. I'm like, hey, creeper. So this is obviously, so the book is The Darkhold, okay? And if you remember correctly, the Darkhold was burnt up in Mouth of Madness or whatever it was called. And so that's what this is a reference to. There's no more copies of the book because they all got burnt out. So then she goes back to the station where this guy was from. Everybody here is from WandaVision. So then she's sitting there and her old partner shows up. And I just want to say right now, this is Rio. Now, I just want to say real quick, Aubrey Plaza was my favorite part of this episode. I love Aubrey Plaza. I think I love Aubrey Plaza more than I love Catherine Hahn. She's great. She's hot as shit. And she just does a great job. Like, she does her eyes all big and stuff. And with the black makeup, I was like, I like this. I like you, Aubrey Plaza. You're pretty great. So Aubrey Plaza is like, doing her thing. And she's like, you're coming to take my case. She's like, I'm not coming to take your case. Calm it down and everything. So what's happening here is, like in WandaVision, how Wanda was stuck in all these TV shows, Agatha is stuck in her own TV show. And the spell has been broken, have been disjointed because Wanda died. And Aubrey Plaza and Teen, which we'll talk about him when he shows up, they are trying to break her out of it. So she keeps asking her questions and stuff and really getting her going. So these, so this is the part where she's like trying to take my case. And she's like, I'm not trying to take your case. So she takes that brooch over to this pawn shop guy. And she's all like, and she says something about like, there's a maiden, a crone, and a spinster. She's like, what? No working class goddess. And I'm like, oh, get the hell out of here with your nonsense. So she's like, how much? And inside is some hair. It's because it's a locket. Hold on, there's some hair right here. And I think I'm going to guess who it is, but I'll tell you that when we get to it. It's in a little bit. But he's like, how much you want for it? He's like, 200. She's like, now I know what price to start on eBay. And I'm like, that's good. So she's sitting here doing some detective work. And like I said before, I like this part about it because, and right here, this spells Darkhold. And I like this detective-y part about it. That's the part I like about it. I think that's why I like this episode. So she goes home because he's like, go home, Agnes. And she goes home and she opens up this door and it's her son's bedroom. And it's very obvious that she lost Nicholas Scratch. Now, Nicholas Scratch is her kid, her son in the comic book. But she doesn't lose him as a little kid. And she definitely, and he is a full-on warlock, and he actually takes over town like Wanda did in the first show, but he takes it over in the comic books. And later on, we do see Senior Scratchy, which is the bunny, and which she named the bunny after, which I'm all like, okay, great. And I did kind of like this. I like this because it's very indicative of these true crime shows. And I was like, yay. Okay. So then Aubrey Plaza's witch shows up again. Rio, she shows up and she's got like pizza and shit. And they're sitting here talking and she's trying to break her out of the spell. The thing I liked about this was she's like, she says something about East Town. And she's like, oh, you traveled? She's like, I've traveled the world or whatnot. She's like, oh yeah, where have you gone to? And when she asks her that, she does this thing where she like messes with her neck or whatever. And I think that's Rio realizing that she's pushing too hard on the spell and she needs a minute. So she she's like, okay, let me just chill out for a second. So then she hears some noise upstairs. She goes up there and hears Teen, which is played by Joe Locke, which I want to just be honest with you. I don't get it with this kid in terms of like he was fine, but I don't get it in terms like the character sucks, by the way. I hate this character 100%. So obnoxious and annoying. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Okay. It takes him so long to get down from this roof and run away from her that I'm all like, okay, this kid's not athletic because I would have been out of there. Like he gets caught and I'm all like, he didn't even try in my opinion. So he gets run over by Miss Hart, which I want to talk about her later, but when we talk about the second episode. So she takes him back to this room and they're sitting here talking about how he's like not in the system. He's like never been convicted of anything. They're like, oh, a newbie or some crap like that. And so she goes in here and she's all like, what makes you break into a detective's house? And he's all like, I was looking for a home life and respect from your coworkers, and you were out of both or some crap like that. I don't remember, but she kicks him. And then she's all like, where were you the other night? And he's all like, I was sleeping. She's like, sleeping. I'm a loser and everything. It was not very good in terms of like acting wise, but I was like, oh, whatever. And then she's all like, she puts down these pictures, right? And she's all like, what did you do to her? Or some crap like that. And he's like, this isn't a person. These are just pictures of flowers. This is in everything. And she keeps looking over. He's like, why do you keep looking at that painting? And she's all like, what? And everything. And then he starts hamana. He starts speaking a spell. And then she gets out of this thing and she goes to the coroner's office, right? And she's sitting there and she sees the body of the dead woman, and she's got scarlet hair. She's like, Scarlet. And then she sees the toe tag, which is the library card, which is very cool. And she's all like, who checked out the book, The Darkhold, and everything. And she's like, tear yourself out of this, dig yourself out. So she just starts tearing away all these clothes. And the thing about this show is they're all like, they said they used mostly practical effects, which I do appreciate, but it looks a little, I'm like, because in this one, she just kept like, she would go down and then she'd come back up and she'd be in a new outfit. And I'm all like, cheap. So, which is fine. It's fine. So she keeps changing into all these different things, which I did like this because we got to see all her different costumes. And finally she comes out in this black and white. And then Aubrey Plaza is like, there's two Jane Does in this case. There's Wanda and then you. What's your name? She's like, Agatha Harkness. And so she they do this light thing, and then she comes out and she's naked in her living room. She goes outside naked and she's like, excuse me, what's going on here? How long have you been? She's been here for 3 years. Now, WandaVision came out 3 years ago, it came out 3 years ago. So it works perfectly in time-wise in our world or whatnot. So he's all like, yo, you're naked or whatnot. And she's all like, of course, all these people, he's checking out her body, which she's all right. She's, for an older lady. She's like, he's like, you seem powerful. She's like, what did you say? He's like, you seem powerful. Normally you're just like a crazy old bat and we have to take care of you. So then she goes down to her basement and she's like, she left me with no powers and a bunch of appliances. And I'm like, well, yeah, appliances are fun. And so then she hears this noise upstairs and she's like, that arrest wasn't an arrest. It was a kidnapping because this kid. So he's locked up in the closet. I was like, yay. So everything all took place in her house. Like it's pretty funny. So then the door blasts open and in walks Aubrey Plaza, as evil biker chick. And she looks pretty good here. I like it. I'm not really like an all black kind of girl, but that's fine. So she just like straight up attacks her. And she's all like, you miss me? And she's all like, I've been waiting for this or whatnot. And she's like, you've never been more vulnerable. And she's like, only physically. So they fight a little bit. And she's like, pain. Do you remember what it feels like? It kind of tickles, doesn't it? And she's like, coochie coo and everything. And then I did like that. Hold on. I want to show this part because I did like this when she just like, bam, all like Exorcist style. I was like, that's fun. And so she's about to kill her. And she's like, wait, she's like, don't you want to do this when I'm fully powered and you can, revel in the fact that you defeated me? And she's all like, and she gets to her and she's like, all right. And she's like, yeah, I'll wait. But you know who won't wait? The Salem 7. And she brings up the Salem 7, which I'll talk about that when we talk about episode 2, when we switch over to that episode. But they're in the comic books, they're like this like weird group of like snake people and like weird demon looking dudes and shit. Which I'm like, whatever, it's fine. So then she's like, so I figure out your shit before sundown because the Salem 7 are coming. She licks her hand and she heals it. Oh, and she also mentions that she's like, why don't you just take my power? And she can't take Aubrey Plaza's power because it'll kill her. So then she's like, hey, I guess this whole, she's like, hey, kid, I don't know what to do with you or some crap like that. That was the end of episode 1. And I did, like I said before, I did like it because I thought it was pretty good. Now, I want to just say, I think I only liked it because it was more detective-y than it was, witchy. And I don't mind witches stuff. Like I love the craft and all that stuff, but I don't know. I just don't know how this is like a Marvel show. And like who was this made for? It was made for, middle-aged women and the gays, because uh teen is gay. And I'm all like, okay, because there's so many of those watching Marvel shows. All right, so let's hop over to episode 2. Okay, so in this one, she's going through her house because she's like, I need to get my powers back because she doesn't have any more powers. Her powers are gone. Okay, she's like, the house is yours, kid. I don't want any more. I gotta go. And he's all like, he is Agatha Stan. He's like, I helped you break free or whatnot. And she's like, oh, you did. And he's talking about how he's like, I want to go on the witch's road. And basically he's all like, I want to go and I want you to take me because it gives you the power that you want. And you're the only one that survived. And she's like, oh, well, you broke me out of my spell. You must be a powerful witch or whatever. Tell me more. And she finds this little locket. And then she's like, what is your name? And when she does that, this little spell comes over, right? So hold on, I want to show it because it's oh geez. So that's it. So if you look at this, I can't tell if that's a W or an M. I think it's both. Like it's Wanda Maximoff, but I'm like, or Wiccan Maximoff, but his name it's Billy, or William. So I'm just like, I'm curious, and I'm curious to who put the spell. I think I know who put the spell on. I'll just tell you right now. I think it's Aubrey Plaza. I think Aubrey Plaza is the villain of this story, and that's because of the Witch's Road comic book. There's a character called the Emerald Warlock, and he's the bad guy in that. And I think that she's the villain in this. That's just my theory for this. I was going to wait till the end to say that, but it's not. I did like this when she's like, let's go, I'm driving. And then she gets in here and this is her car in her little vision. I was like, that's funny. Okay. I'll give them that. That's a funny thing. And then she's like, okay. She's like, you're driving. So then she's walking along and she comes across this property. Now, this is the property of Wanda. It says evil witch right there. And I like this little M right here on the side. And it's got a little slash through it or whatnot. And this is the property that Wanda bought, or Vision bought Wanda, and then she started her little escapades where it's not they'll never she sacrificed so much for the people of that town that she enslaved. I'm sorry, WandaVision was shit. If you liked it, have at it, but it was shit. Okay, so they leave Westview, and he's talking. His boyfriend calls them and everything, but they're going to find a coven, right? And she says there's a coven within 3 miles of you, of any witch, that has enough power, whatnot, that has the powers to help you out. So they go to the first witch, and she is a divination witch, right? So psychic readings or whatnot. And they go in, and it's Patti LuPone. And I do like LuPone, like she's a good actress or whatnot, and I do like her in a lot of stuff. But she plays Lilia Calderu, and from what from the comic books, it's a very loosely based on this character from the comic books. But she's their divination witch, and she's got like this yellow magic. And she, they're all like, join us on the witch's road or whatnot. And she gives them, and she's like, as soon as I do, you're gonna steal my powers. She's like, she's like, all right, here's the thing. I cannot steal your powers unless you blast me. So if you blast me, then like if you remember in WandaVision, which I'll talk about later when in her little past, when the witches blast her, she steals their powers. It's like that. So she can't steal your powers unless you attack her. She's like, hey, you guys notice you got an eviction notice. So she has a little vision and gives her 4 other names of witches to be in the coven, right? And he's all like, and then she sees this crow. Now, this crow is actually one of the 7, the Salem 7, because the witches in the Salem 7, can transform into animals. And I will talk about that in when we see the 7, because I have a theory of who they are. Not that are related to this show. So the next one they go to is this chick right here. Now, if this chick is, and now this is Jennifer Kale, right? Now, if Jennifer Kale is in the comic books, which she is, I haven't read a comic book with her in it. And if I have, I don't remember. So Jennifer Kale, again, in the comic books, she looks nothing like this, because in the comic books, she's white and blonde, I believe. So I'm like, it's which is fine that they changed it. I literally don't care. And she's only going to go with her because she's got a buttload of lawsuits, and because people got like burns or whatnot. And she's all like, so she'll end up going with her. See the lawsuits. Real quick. I just want to say this character of Teen, aka Wiccan, Billy. I don't know who he is. I think it's Wiccan. I don't care. He's annoying. Do not like him on this show. The character, not the actor. The actor's fine. He's not as great as everybody says he is, but he's fine. The character, however, we would not be friends. Young people are annoying, and he is very annoying in this show. Anyways, so she's all like, and she's like, I'm going to take a jade egg, aka put it, and she's like, knew where to find it, aka put it in her vagina. I'm like, that's gross. Don't be gross, okay, honey? So they go to the mall, and because he's all like, we only have one witch left. He's like, two. There's 4 names, and she eats the piece of paper with the names on it, and because it's supposed to be Rio, because there's just she wrote down a black heart, and Rio says in the first episode, she's like, you don't have a heart, and she's like, oh, I have a heart, but it's a black heart or some crap like that. So she's sitting here eating, and then she sees a rat. Which again is one of the 7. Like I think one turns into a coyote or whatever. One turns into like a chinchilla, and then one turns into an owl or whatnot, and maybe a snake. I don't know. But so anyway, so they find the last witch, and it's this chick, and she's a security guard, which you're all like, okay, great, and everything. But this is Alice Wu. Now, she is also from the comic book, but obviously reimagined here. And she's a protective witch, but they end up, they end up getting her fired or what. When you go on the witch's road, what you want the most is what you get. But I feel like it's one of those, you don't get what you want, you get what you need. But she's like, you'll be able to answer that question that's haunted you for years. What happened to mommy? And because the rumor is that her mom died on the witch's road. So they go back, and he's like, we only have an hour until sundown, so we should get back or whatnot fast. And then she's like, tell me a little bit about yourself. And he starts to talk about herself, but she can't hear him because there's a spell of some sort. Anyway, so she's out here, and she sees this like coyote looking thing, also a member of the 7. So they come in. I forgot to mention that she is bound, so she can't use she can't use magic. She's got to, and she's like, I've tried everything. So all the witches come in. They're all there. And they're like, we need a green witch. And they're like, this is arguably the most, powerful magic on the witch's road or whatnot. And she's like, it's a black heart. And she's like, oh, okay, I know who it is. I forgot it and everything. So she goes over to Mrs. Hart, which her real name is Mrs. Davies or Davis. And she's talking about how she's doing her gardening. And she's like, oh, so she's got a green thumb. So she's a green witch, very loosely, whatever green witch. But I do not think this is Mrs. Hart / Mrs. Davis. I honestly think this is Rio, as she's just disguised herself. She's doing some kind of glamour, and she's fooling them. But she's like, I'm having a party. You want to come over? And she's like, sure, let me get my purse. So she sends a Locke upstairs to fix the door or something like that. And she's like, the way to get to the witch's road, we have to sing the song, right? Now, I'm not going to, I just want to say right now, the song, don't like it. It's stupid, but whatever. But it's all about the harmonies. So he goes upstairs, he finds Senor Scratchy, and then he goes, while they're singing, he goes outside and he sees the 7, right? Hold on, so he sees 1, and they turn into 7. This guy, like how he was like, you seeing this shit? So there they are. They turn into 7. He's like, oh shit, fuck that noise. So we see this witch, and she looks all burnt. Now this is my theory on this. Okay. Do you remember in WandaVision when she is being burned at the stake and then she steals the powers of those other witches? I think that these 7 are those other witches that were all the other witches, not her mother from that. And I think that she didn't kill them. She just took their powers and now they want revenge, or maybe she did take their powers or somehow they got brought back to life and now they want revenge kind of thing. So that's what my theory is from this. So they attack here while they're singing, right? And so he tries to block the way or whatnot. And she's like telling him, like, you guys didn't do your thing. So she tries to goat them into attacking her and it doesn't work. And she's all like, we need to open the door. So the door pops up below them. And then they're all like, okay, let's head down now. Joel Locke's character comes down and he runs right in there. He's like, we need to get the hell out of here. And they all start going down in there. And this little witch, and she's crawling down the stairs. And it was very WandaVision from Madness Mom. And so they go down here. And here's the witch's road. You see it. And she takes off her shoes. And they all take off their shoes. And they start walking down the road. Okay, and you see all their little shoes here. And yeah, and that's where the episode ends. So like I said before, the show was not bad in terms of when I got done watching it, I wasn't completely annoyed, like most of the shows from Marvel. But I also just want to say this does not feel like a Marvel show. This feels like a completely different show that is not a Marvel show. And the only real connection that it has to the Marvel universe is A, Agatha, and B, the whole Wanda dead body thing at the beginning. And I mean, it's fine, but I don't know. We'll see how it keeps going from here. But I just keep like 9 episodes and I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to give it another shot. I'm going to keep watching. I'm covering the show. But we'll see how it turns out. I don't have hope, but I'm willing to change my mind. You know what I'm saying? All right, you guys, that's all I got for you guys. Next week I'll do it a little bit differently. I'll my breakdown, everything. It's 2 episodes, and this is a little bit easier for me to break it down this way. But tell me what you guys thought about this. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What was your favorite part? Who's your favorite witch? What witch would you want to be? I would probably want to be Aubrey Plaza's character, or Agatha, because they just seem the most powerful. Those other witches don't seem all that powerful, in my opinion. Like, I feel like I could take them. But tell me what you guys thought about it. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind if you're my channel. Please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on my next Agatha All Along breakdown and review. You guys have a good week. Bye.